Was Freya's necklace story rewritten to diminish her power? We're going to explore the legend of the Brisingamen, and why the famous dwarf story may actually contradict everything we know about Freya. The Brisingamen is the legendary necklace of Freya, the Norse goddess of love, beauty, fertility, and war. Forged by 4 dwarves, it is described as the most beautiful ornament in the world, often symbolizing the sun, fire, or the goddess's own immense power and allure. While it is a central symbol of her divinity, the specific story of how she acquired it, by sleeping with 4 dwarves, is frequently criticized by modern scholars as a later Christian fabrication or a euhemerized distortion. According to late medieval texts, Freya discovered 4 dwarves, Alfrig, Berlinger, Dvalin, and Greyr, crafting a magnificent golden necklace. The dwarves refused her offers of gold and silver, demanding instead that she spend one night with each of them in exchange for the piece, which according to this medieval myth she does. Upon her return to Asgard, Loki discovered her secret and told Odin. At Odin's command, Loki stole the necklace by turning into a fly and a flea to bite Freya as she slept. To regain the necklace, Freya was forced by Odin to incite an eternal war between 2 kings, Hogni and Hain, where the dead would rise every night to fight until the end of the world, the Battle of the Jadnings. So why the dwarf story is considered a Christian invention? Scholars and practitioners often argue this specific narrative is a Christian lie or a biased retelling for several reasons. The only detailed account of Freya trading her body to the dwarves for the necklace comes from a short story found in the Flateyjarbók manuscript. This was compiled in the late 14th century by 2 Christian priests, roughly 400 years after Scandinavia was officially Christianized. The story is part of the saga of Olaf Tryggvason, a Christian king celebrated for forcibly converting Norway. The narrative concludes with the arrival of a Christian lord who finally ends the pagan curse of the eternal battle, framing Christianity as a savior from pagan moral decay. The text euhemerizes the gods, portraying them not as divine beings but as humans. Freya is reduced to Odin's concubine rather than a powerful, independent goddess of the Vanir. Christian authors often sought to demonize or trivialize pagan deities. By depicting the goddess of love as someone with questionable morals who sells herself to foul dwarves, the priests effectively used Christian sexual morality to strip Freya of her dignity and sovereignty. Older, more authentic sources like the Poetic Edda mention the Brisingamen and its theft but do not mention the dwarves or the sexual trade. In these earlier poems, the necklace is a symbol of her wrath and power. It even shatters when she is insulted. This story about one of the most powerful Norse goddesses trading her body for magical artifacts completely contradicts Freya's status among the Vanir and Asur, and the fact that other gods obtain their artifacts from dwarves free of charge. Freya is one of the most formidable deities in Norse mythology. She is the ultimate practitioner of Seder, a potent form of magic involving destiny, prophecy, and weaving the threads of fate. She was the one who taught this magic to Odin. Contrary to popular belief, Freya has the first pick of the fallen on the battlefield. She takes half of the heroic dead to her field, Folkvangr, while Odin takes the other half to Valhalla. She is not just a goddess of beauty, she is a war leader. She wears a falcon feather cloak that allows her to fly between worlds and possesses a chariot pulled by 2 giant cats. Her domain covers the most critical transitions of human existence: birth, death, and the ecstatic energy of love and desire. From a mythological and logical standpoint, the story of Freya trading herself for the necklace is highly inconsistent with her established character. Since Freya taught Odin the art of Seder, she held a position of spiritual authority over him. The idea that Odin could punish her for her sexual choices, or use Loki to humiliate her, undermines the respect inherent in their magical bond. As the one who chooses the dead before Odin, Freya holds a higher military priority in the afterlife. A goddess with the power to claim the souls of the greatest warriors would not logically be subject to a slut-shaming punishment by Odin, as she is an independent power player, not his subject. When Thor needed Mjolnir, or Odin needed Gungnir, they did not have to perform any favors. The dwarves usually provided these items through trickery, challenges, or direct payment. Singling out the most powerful female deity to pay with her body is a classic trope of Christian medieval literature, which often sought to reduce female power to mere sexuality. Odin himself is frequently described as unmanly, Urgi, for practicing Seder, and is known for his own deceptive and immoral behavior to gain wisdom, like seducing Gunnel for the meed of poetry. It makes little sense for a god who values results over morals to punish Freya for the exact same behavior, unless the story was rewritten by a later author with a Christian moral agenda. In the older poetic Edda, the Brisingamen is an extension of her divine wrath. When she is angry, the necklace shakes the earth. This image of a world-shaking goddess is entirely at odds with the Christian version, where she is portrayed as a vulnerable woman hiding a shameful secret from a judging patriarch. So, summarizing the story, Freya was not fragile. She was not subordinate. She was not morally small. Instead, Freya was a war leader, a fate weaver, a chooser of the warriors, and perhaps the real story of Brisingamen is about how later generations tried to reshape power into something more controllable. What do you think? Was this myth rewritten to fit a new religion? Or is there something deeper hidden beneath the layers of time?